Well, welcome back everyone to the life of an outdoorsman. I'm here, I'm pike fishing and got a couple tip-ups set out, but today I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna make these quick strike rigs. I've never made them this way before, but I think it's gonna work really good. So I'm gonna show you the process, and maybe we'll even catch something on it today. So let's close this up. Okay. So to get started, I'm going to use this not too kinky stuff. I know you've seen this before in one of my other videos where I showed you how to tie the knots in it to make like pike leaders and stuff for fishing in the summer. What I'm going to make is I'm going to make quick strike rigs, and I bought this little kit online. Can't really see it that well, but it's little ferrules basically. Instead of using knots, I'll just use these ferrules, and then I can get the nice loops on the ends. I'm going to try it. We'll see how it works. And yeah, I'll show you the process and we'll get started. So I'm hoping this will show up nicely. It's the best background I have, which is only black, which isn't great, but it is what it is. So I'm going to use this wire. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out enough of the wire out of this little spool here to do the whole rig. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to fold it in the middle like this, put a ferrule there, and then I'm going to have my two ferrules at the bottom for the other side. So I'm going to have my two ferrules at this end where the hooks are going to be. So basically you want to be able to fold it in half, a little bit extra, not much, and then however long you want each lead of your quick strike rig to be. So now I've cut about enough for about a 4 to 5 inch lead on each side. So I'm going to take one of these ferrules. I already threw in my hooks and my little split ring in here, or swivel. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take one of these swivels here. It's a ball bearing swivel, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off the snap off of it. It's like a ball bearing snap swivel. I'm just going to take the snap off, so then I just have the ball bearing swivel. Alright, so I got all my hardware here. I got a swivel, I've got 3 little ferrules and 2 treble hooks and my piece of wire here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this swivel, I'm going to put the swivel on the wire, and I put the wire, basically I want it all the way up to the middle, and then I'm going to stick both tag ends of this wire through one of the ferrules. And then you want each end to be as even as you can get. And then what you want to do is you want to slide this all the way up till you have just a little loop at the end. Very tiny loop. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take a pliers that came with the kit, and I'm going to crimp this down as much as I can. I'll cinch it. And now with that cinched down, I have that little loop. I don't know if you can see it. A very little loop at the end, and it's cinched down. It's on a ball bearing swivel. So all I need to do is attach my line to here, and then the rig itself can spin on here. Then I'm going to do pretty much the exact same thing with the other end. I'm going to stick my hook on. Then, actually, sorry, I got to stick a ferrule on first. So it's not exactly the same. You get the idea. Stick the ferrule on. Then stick the hook on. Then stick the wire back through the ferrule, just so it's just poking at the other side. You don't really want a whole lot sticking out. So you're just going to want just enough, and then you want to cinch down the other side of it down to the point where there's just a small little loop here without pulling your line all the way through. So right about kind of like right there. And then you're going to take your pliers again and cinch it up. Crimp it down. So now you have that cinched on there. Nice little loop for the hook. There's one lead. So now you're going to take the other lead and do exactly the same thing. Although it looks like I've lost one of my ferrules here. Let me see if I can find it for a sec. Okay, we're back. Knocked the camera a little bit. So I got my little ferrule. I've got my treble hook. And like I said, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to stick the ferrule on first. It's like threading string through a needle, except for it's a stiff string. Trying to get it in that little tiny ferrule. I'm using the smallest ones that came with this kit. Then you take your hook, put your hook on, stick your wire back through the ferrule, and just poke it out the other side. You don't even need to. You could even leave it inside the ferrule just a little bit so you're not poking your fingers after. And then you want to cinch it down right till you have a little bit of a loop left. And then stick your pliers on and crimp it down. Right here. Cinch it down a little bit tighter and crimp it away. There we go. So we have that crimped on. There's no tag end sticking out because I left the tag end just slightly inside the ferrule. And then we have both coming off the same rig on this side. What you can do, if you would rather have them separate leads, is you could crimp the top end, each end of your leads crimped separately, so then they can swing independently of each other. So I'm going to try one this way, and I'm going to try one the other way. I'm going to make one the other way where I have the two leads separate, and I'll show you that way. All right, so I have the setup. I have two wires here. I just stuck them in my foam here. I have 4 ferrules this time instead of 3. I have 2 hooks, and I have the ball bearing swivel, snap swivel that I'm going to take the snap off of. So let's take the snap off first. Take the snap off first, and then come on. See if I can tip my pliers in there. I don't care if I destroy the snap because I'm not using it anyways. So let's set that aside. Okay, so first things first, let's get both of our leads tied onto our swivel. So let's stick one through. And it doesn't matter whether you put the ferrule on first because you can stick it on the other end right now. So we're going to take one of these ferrules, going to stick it on our wire. And then stick the other end in. Come on. Apparently I can't see very well in here. There we go. So we're going to stick one end through, just almost sticking out the ferrule, just not quite sticking out. And then we're going to pull the other one up tight. Nice and tight, so it's a little tiny loop here. I'm going to grab with our pliers, grab the ferrule, pull a little bit tighter, and crimp it down. Left a little bit bigger of a loop there, but that's okay. That'll work out fine. So then we take our second lead wire and do exactly the same thing. Stick it through the eye of your swivel. Take another little ferrule, put one on one end. Oops, that was just one flying. I'm gonna have to grab another one. I'm gonna try and get it, just went into my fish finder bucket here, so I'll have to grab it after. Stick another ferrule on here. Hopefully I'm in view here. I keep trying to pay attention to what I'm doing instead of the camera. I'll do the same thing. Cinch it right down. There's just a little bit of a loop there. Grab the pliers. Pliers are upside down, but it works. Grab it down. There we go. So now we have both leads tied on. separately. So then this is more for if you want to like a more of a swivel connection here rather than both leads coming off the same direction, right? I don't think it makes that big a difference, but you know, maybe some people want their leads separately so then they can kind of separate each other like this. You know, just personal preference almost. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put our hooks on, but we're going to put them staggered a little bit. So I left the leads the same length, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one on all the way at the end, and then I'm going to put one on a little bit shorter so that our bait sits on a bit of an angle when it's in the water. So let me put the first ferrule on here, and then I'm going to have to, like I say, I dropped a ferrule, so I'm going to have to go grab another one out of the box. Put it through, put the hook on, put it back through the ferrule. Oops, I'm hitting it with my hat. I can't hit the camera with my hat. Cinch it down, pull it back a little bit so that it's not sticking out, the tag end. Because on this not too kinky wire, if you have the tag end sticking out, it is brutal. It can poke your fingers really good. So cinch it down, and there we go. We've got another one on the hook here, and I gotta grab another ferrule. Give me a sec. So this kit I bought, it's just off Amazon. It's cheap kind of China kit. Came with the pliers. Came with a whole bunch of different sizes of ferrules. I thought of even cutting the ferrule in half first so that there's not as big of a ferrule on there, but I'll use it as it is for now, and then if I need to I can make it a little smaller. So first things first, let's grab our pliers, set it in here and crimp it down. There we go. Oh man, you know what I forgot? I forgot to make them different lengths. I was too busy talking. So there you have it. We have two quick strike rigs here, set up a little differently. This one's got the two individual leads coming off of the swivel, and this one's got it crimped straight on, so both leads are coming out of the same ferrule. Not much difference to the way you do it, I don't think. Both hooks are supposed to be like, you're not going to catch two individual fish and they're not going to be pulling opposite directions, so you're not going to wreck the wire if it's coming out of the same swivel or same ferrule, I don't think. But you know, if you want to throw an extra ferrule in there, and you got yourself two individual leads that can be bent any direction you want off of the swivel. But this one, I kind of failed at making them different lengths here. They're a little bit different, so you'll get a little bit of an angle to them, but I don't think it makes that big of a difference as far as whether your minnow is sitting like this or, you know, on a 45 or something. Some people say it does. It seems like for the fishing that I've done in the last couple of weeks, it hasn't made a difference because I've had one of each on one of my lines. So yeah, so this is really easy. You know, take some not too kinky wire, get yourself one of those little kits with the ferrules, or just buy some ferrules if you have you know, the pliers already, and then you can make yourself some quick strike rigs and, you know, catch some good fish on it. And that's what I plan to do today. I'm gonna maybe throw one of these on my lines and see if I can catch a fish with it. So, well, there you go. Hope it helps, and maybe you can make your own, catch your own fish with your own quick strike rigs. Really simple to make, and yeah, hope you enjoyed. Flag's up, but there's nothing there. Not sure why it got set off. Maybe something bumped it. Something might have pulled on it a little bit. No. Anyhow. Nothing there. Nothing with that one. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. So, before it gets too dark here, I just want to say thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. I'm going to keep fishing a little bit, and if I get anything, you'll see it. If not, then see you next time. Bye.